BoomZ, a conversation between generations. With the changing world today, it's become exceedingly important that there be a relationship between all generations. We live in an ever-changing world, and it will take the strengths of all generations to make a positive impact on our society. We must make an effort to understand and make compromises in our way of life. Can you dig it? We'd like to say good afternoon to everybody this afternoon, and welcome to BoomZ Podcast. I'm Slammin' Sammy.
And I'm Nina.
And we're glad to see all of you here this evening.
Absolutely.
Yes. Nina, on our last little segment, we were talking about telephones.
Yes. Cell phones.
Cell phones. And speaking of cell phones, you know, I just happened to think I think 40 years old before I had a phone, before I had a cell phone.
You want to know how old I was?
2.
8. I was 8. The first cell phone I ever had. 8 years old.
And it wasn't a cell phone as you know it. It was a bag phone, which it was not a smartphone. You know, we used to use pagers back in the day.
Is a pager a beeper?
Beeper.
Okay.
Beeper's a pager. Yeah.
Okay.
You know how that works?
No. Please.
Well, a pager, you take, someone will... You have a number, like a phone number, and someone will call that number, and they'll put their telephone number in there. So you look at the number, and you go find a payphone or a phone somewhere and call them back.
Call that number. That's what they did?
That's what they did.
So you would basically just like sending someone an alert of like, hey, I want to call you.
I want to
Here's
talk
my
to you.
number.
That's it. And that was big time.
That was big time.
And then they had some codes where you could actually...
Mean something?
Yes.
Okay, so like 2, 3-digit number codes?
Yes, that kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was there like a universal code or is it
No. It was usually...
between friends or something like that?
Yeah.
Huh.
So, but that was short-lived.
What years was that for you?
That was probably during... the 90s, late 90s, even early 2000s.
So phones came out before beepers?
No.
Beepers came out first.
Beepers were first before smartphones. Yes, they were here before smartphones.
But the box phones?
The box phones were here before the beepers. But it was just a phone.
Yeah,
Just a phone. Just a phone, a big clunky thing. And... You know where you have text and talk unlimited? It was about $1 a minute.
That is, but I remember the minutes because even on my phone when I was a kid, it had minutes on it. Like, you know, but it was like after what, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, that you get free minutes or something.
Something like that, yeah. Something like that. So it was very, very expensive. So it was just one of those things. Now, since the advent of the smartphone, which is all you have known.
Yes.
You got GPS. You can access the internet.
Yeah.
All of those things. Do you know how we got from place to place?
Memory. Echo.
Well, that was part of it. We use a thing called maps.
The physical maps, not the app either.
Atlas made a book that had maps of all the states and all the major highways in the country.
And y'all would just...
And they still do it.
You know what? I thought that y'all would just... And this kind of sounds bad, too. This is going to be a dumb moment. Because I was like, oh, they just printed them off from the computer, the directions. But you probably didn't even have...
No, they didn't have computers. I think I had my first computer probably in 1986.
That is insane. It's not really when you think of the time, but like I just know Mr. Sam now, and you're the most tech savvy person I know.
But you know, you have to go with it.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people my age don't go with it. You
Yeah.
know, they don't like to learn new things.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, so I have a question for you because you said it was 86 when you got your first computer. You were about 40 when you got your first phone. If you could think back to when you're 20, I'm 25, to your 20s, what is the one piece of technology? Because you're Mr. Sound engineer, you know, iMac King, you do all that. So what's one piece of technology you would take back to your adolescence, like your early adulthood?
The cell phone's it's a powerful piece.
Yeah.
It's a powerful piece because you got everything. You got a computer.
Yeah, in your pocket.
Yeah, in your pocket. So that definitely would be. But if you're the only one that's got it, it wouldn't be much good.
True.
You know?
True. You can't call nobody. Can't test nobody.
You know. And let me go back to maps. Just until a few years ago, if you were taking a trip with your family, let's say you were going to Yellowstone, you called AAA. If you had a AAA membership,
Yeah.
you tell them where you're going. They would print out maps and map the whole trip for you, including food stops.
AAA would?
AAA.
And they don't do it anymore?
They do it now, even.
Really?
Yes.
That's-
You can get a map.
I just couldn't do that. I just wouldn't want one. I don't trust myself. I'd rather have the little computer tell me, turn here.
Yeah, well, it's convenient.
Yeah.
It's convenient, you know.
Gosh.
But as a musician on the road, that was it for us. You know.
So did y'all ever, like, because you did travel a lot when you were touring and everything, and, like, if you made a wrong turn, how confusing was it to, like, try to map your way back?
Well, you just didn't. You had more of a sense of direction.
Really?
You
Okay.
weren't as dependent. It's like you guys, if the GPS sends you in the wrong way, you don't even know what town you're in. You know, so you had to be aware
Yeah.
of where you were going. I mean, you really had to, you know.
Yeah. Do your research, study up on it.
Yes, I mean, we used to play a place in Jersey City on Jackson Avenue. Well, you look up Jackson Avenue is a main street there. So, you know, when you get there, if you get on the wrong road, you ask somebody on the corner, where's Jackson Avenue? You know, go down to the McDonald's, take a left, you know, go up to the barbershop and take a right, and you're there. So.
Yeah. You know what's funny? There's like a meme on social media that's like you ask somebody directions of their hometown and they still can't tell you. That's me. I really, like, someone asked me one time, like, how to get through my hometown, Raymond, North Carolina. I mean, I gave her something. You know, I didn't leave her with nothing, but I don't know if it was right, and I don't know if she got there correctly.
Well, I think that now we're so dependent on that GPS.
Yeah.
It's just, and we don't. Some people will know they're going the wrong way, and will continue to go the wrong way. I mean, just doesn't make sense. I bet you if I took you outdoors, you couldn't tell me which way north was.
Okay, I couldn't, but I wouldn't blame the whole generation because I've never been good at directions. Like, I've never been good at, like...
But that's typical.
Yeah.
It's typical.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't tell me where north is. It's not a...
That's all I can say. That's all I got.
But so it's a little basic things that you know, you don't, because you haven't experienced it, you don't, you're just not aware of it.
It's like evolution, though. Like, when you don't have to rely on, like your keen sense, you kind of lose that ability.
Dependent on that machine is awful. You know, I don't know about you, but if I go to McDonald's and I order something that costs $3.26,
Yeah.
and I give somebody $5.26, and they look at that like it is foreign currency. They can't figure it out.
Yeah. I'll say, okay, I could figure that out because it was exact change, but I didn't like when people, because I used to work at McDonald's my senior year, and I didn't like when, like, older people, that's who did it, it would be like 26 cents, and then they'd give me like 2 quarters, 50 cents, and be like, oh, here, that makes it easier. Because it's like, I'm like, no, it didn't.
But if they give you, if the change is 26 cents and they give you 51 cents.
Yeah.
And it had a 50-cent piece. Mm-hmm. What would you give them back?
26. When did this become a math? When we start doing math, I'm confused.
That's what I mean. You give them a quarterback.
You give them a quarterback. Then what? Oh, you mean a 50-cent piece? Okay.
Yes. You know, but people.
I didn't like that though.
But that's because people don't. You all don't want to figure it out.
Yeah. Well.
You don't want to figure it out. You know, I mean, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
I don't know about school now, but I bet you they don't teach basic addition and subtraction.
Yeah. Well, they did growing up for me. I don't know about these kids now, but
that's all that is.
I will say they didn't teach us how to, this is super off topic a little bit. They didn't teach us how to mellow letters. I'm be completely honest. I mean, I'd Google it if I ever had a mellow letter, but I don't know how to like what goes in what corner. And like, literally the other day, not like a week ago, I asked our producer, Wub, I said, what corner do I put the stamp? Of like, yeah, it was actually really bad. And he was just like, he kind of looked at me crazy. He's millennial, so he knows a little more. Well,
it's a lot of basic things like that. Just, they stopped teaching.
Yeah, they did. Cursive, they don't teach that.
And that I learned how to do cursive in second grade. Mm-hmm. Second grade. Mm-hmm. So, and I think that's one of the basics that everybody should know how to write.
Yeah. Yeah.
How to write.
They don't even know how to sign their names now.
No.
Like, my brother worked at the bank, and, you know, you have to sign your name to set up an account. He told this one dude, he was like, do your signature. And he literally printed his name out. And my brother's like, no, sign it. He was like, I don't know how. And my brother told him how to do his signature.
And that's
crazy to me.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Like, literally.
It's crazy and it's sad.
It's sad. I agree.
You know, but I don't understand why the educational system has failed to teach basics, and I don't understand why. I really don't understand why.
I don't understand the cuts that they make. Like I mean, you would think it's budget, but like, how much money is teaching cursive really causing? Like, why cut that? Like, you know what I mean? I don't get that.
I tell you, we're going into education here, but
right.
I saw an article about a school system here in North Carolina that is now banning the display of any flag other than North Carolina or the U.S. flag. And one teacher was saying she had flags in her room to represent the students where they came from. And she just didn't understand that.
Okay. So I have I think you should have representation in all school systems, but I can see where a conversation where it causes tension and racial tension in a school environment. Because my senior year of high school was 2017. It was Trump and Biden, right? Was that Trump? No, it was Trump and Hillary, 2017.
Yes. And
Trump won, but like in my high school was predominantly white, and there was a good amount of Hispanics there, and that was kind of the racial tension was like between the Hispanics and whites, and they brought their flags to school. And they were like, it really did almost cause like a riot. It was like people were scared checking out of school early because like they were bringing Confederate flags too. The white kids would bring Confederate flags, and then there was like Guatemalan flags, the Mexico flag. Like, so it created a very high tension environment.
I guess I can see.
Yeah, I can see where it could be bad, but I also feel like it's like a infringement on the First Amendment right. Like that we should have freedom of expression, and you know.
Well, you don't have freedom of expression a lot of places.
But in school you do. In public schools
You're
do.
supposed to.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
You're supposed to, but you don't.
Yeah.
You know. So, but that's just one of the pitfalls of progress. You know? It's one of the pitfalls of progress.
Too many woke people try not to step on toes. So I feel like that's a good conversation. Well, that was good.
Well, I tell you, cell phones, I guess, are here. The first computer class I took, I went back to school just to take a computer class, and my instructor told me, I was 40 something then.
So what year was that?
Probably 86.
Okay.
And I went to Winston-Salem State, as a matter of fact.
Oh.
And when I was there, the first day the instructor says, whether you realize it or not, you'll be walking around with computers in your pocket. And I just couldn't get that, you know? I couldn't.
Yeah. And fast forward 30 years.
Yeah, and he was right on it.
He was right on it. That's kind of creepy to like live that.
He was right on it. So I've lived through, I think for my generation, and because of the business I'm in, I've lived through the progression. So, and I've tried to stay with it, the technology. But, you know.
Tried to. I like to say you have.
Well, a lot of my peers don't.
Yeah.
You know, because learning new things is kind of hard sometimes for us older folk.
Yeah.
You know? So it's a little different, you know. But you all got it locked down.
Yeah.
You got it locked down.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
From social media to the phones. That's our lives, unfortunately.
Yes.
But wait, I have a question before we sign off. What is your take on social media as a whole?
I think social media, its intention was great.
Yeah.
I think its result sometimes is very bad. I think it has touched the emotions of young people in a way that, you know, I cannot comprehend cyber bullying.
We've talked about this.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, turn the damn phone off.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
That is one way to think of it. But it's like, I guess cyberbullying kind of leads into school too, though. Because what's going on online is going to come back in the classroom and at school and around your peers. So it's hard. But like, if you're being bullied by somebody halfway across the world and you feel away from that, like, okay, yeah, girl.
I just don't
turn it off. But
you know, and I really think that kids nowadays get phones way too early. 8-year-olds with phones. It's just,
with these smartphones too, like these iPhones, like iPhone 14s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that is crazy.
$1,000 phones. It just doesn't make any sense. You know. So I just I don't know.
I feel like it depends. Like you could give a younger person a phone and it could work, but I feel like as a parent you have to monitor it.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah.
My granddaughter, she has. I mean, her mother monitors that phone like crazy. You know. So, but most of them don't. You know, they don't. They don't know where their kids are.
Yeah. And there's so many ways too, because there's Life 360, which is like you can track your child wherever they go. Jennifer told us one time, she was like, they know how fast her nephew's driving in the car off of just off the app or whatever. So there's ways to do it. I think some parents just don't
care. They
just don't care.
They give it to them as a babysitter.
Yeah, hey, go over there, watch your video.
Yeah. Well, look, Nina, we're probably going to have to finish this conversation next week.
Okay.
But I think it's worth talking about.
Absolutely.
So I'll say to all of you folk out there, I got to look at my note here because I got a bad. Yeah, if you got any topics you want us to talk about, or if you're interested in being on the show, you can reach out to us at BoomZ Podcast. Let me say that again. Ask us at BoomZpodcast.com.
Yes, and we also would love if you liked, share, and subscribe and comment if you would like to leave, a comment on our YouTube channel.
So I'm gonna just say we'll see you next week.
My name is Nina,
and I'm Sam Slamming Sammy. So we'll see you then.
I feel like we could do this sign off again a little better if we want to.
Okay.
Hit it.